black to move. What's a good move here? You, ma'am. Rook e8. Oh, rook just taking right here on e3? So you can promote. You don't care about giving up the exchange, right? Good, yeah. I like how you found that really fast. So that's just a really simple example of what an exchange sacrifice is. This is one that was definitely, that's definitely tactical in nature. Let's take a look at another tactical one. And if you guys know the theme, it's easy to find, right? Yeah, how about you? Rook takes e4, and then when I take back with the rook, what are you going to play? Then, yeah, so your friend back there, you had the idea, but sometimes we just got to get the move order. That happens all the time. It's actually more often than not, you're going to get the idea, but not the way to make it work. So, yeah, bishop f3 is the move you want to play, but only after sacrificing the exchange on e4 to create the tactical opportunity for the skewer, like you're mentioning up front, exactly. You guys ready to look at a game? All right. Yeah, Spassky versus Petrosian. So this is a game that was played in the World Championship in 1966. This is the match that Petrosian won in the second match that they played. 3 years later, Spassky won. This is game 7 from the first match. Petrosian has black, Spassky has white. And I think he did this a few times in both of their World Championship matches. Spassky is an e4 player, but tried to employ a little psychological tactic, and he played d4 against a big d4 player. What's that? Potentially could be a King's Indian. You tell me though, is that a King's Indian move? No, very good. You could still transpose, play c4 and e4 and do all the King's Indian stuff. There's a little bit of a quieter idea. I bet you Ken will recognize it over there. E6, still pretty flexible.
E3, did you play E3?
Nope. What's the problem with playing E3 immediately?
Well, you're not getting your dark squared bishop.
So then.
But you're on your way to the county, so.
Yeah, which is your thing. But this is like Colley-esque in as much as it's a, low ambition, low theory D4. Yeah, just like, what's the other one? Yeah, the Colley and the London. Torre, or just queen's pawn, is how this usually gets categorized.
I've never seen this.
Bishop G5, yeah. And if you do bishop G, you've seen bishop G5 without knight F3 first. What do we call that? That's the Trompowsky. That's the Trompowsky, and this one's the Torre when knight F3 gets played first. Quiet, definitely not the aggressive chess that a lot of you guys have seen in some of these other lectures where it's E4, E5, and just a brutal kingside attack. This is a quieter game, and we're going to learn about stuff other than attacking chess tonight. So hopefully, you guys will walk away with that. Okay, so knight b d2, just developing pieces, often with the idea of getting the knight on f3 to e5, and then this guy will swing to f3 to back him up. That's usually the idea behind that queenside knight development. Breaking the pin, playing e3, just 2 moves after you wanted it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he'll equalize, right? And what's the advantage of white is that you have the first move, so you can always be ahead in development if you pay enough attention to it.
You give up the initiative.
Right, yep, you give up the initiative. Which more or less means you let your opponent kind of go about on his own plans unhindered. Okay. Petrosian makes a similar move. What are his ideas here, do you guys think? C5, yeah. Keeping it moving. Yes, sir. C5 is the idea, which is why he plays it there. Thish called it in the back. Got a positional pro back there. Yes, sir. Sorry to put the spotlight on you there. Okay. High five, exactly. So C5, gaining space on the queen side, achieving a strategic break. When you guys, when you play this kind of structure with black, this is a move that you always want to try and get in, you know, at the earliest point possible. Who plays the French defense? Jason. Jason plays it. Anybody else? Nope. Too boring. Too slow for the rest of you guys. I play the French defense. Yeah. Anyway, point being, when you have this E6, D5 chain, C5 is a good maneuver to gain space and piece activity. Defending, getting into a Ken West-esque type position, right? With this little triangle. Okay. Clever move. Obvious with the obvious development idea of he's developing his minor piece. Which minor piece? The bishop, right? But what would you play? I'd be surprised if any of you guys would want to play b6 there. What would you play here? Castle. So all the grandmasters watching the game and the ones who wrote about it after, everyone, well, maybe not everyone gives an exclam to this move, but they all appreciate the fact that he delayed castling here because he doesn't want this knight to, he doesn't mind the knight coming in here unless he's castled kingside. Once he's castled kingside, then say we castle here instead of playing b6, well then this gets annoying, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. He's going to kick that knight away. He's going to maybe even be able to get his queen to d2. He might be able to castle long and get some sort of killer and annoying attack on the black king side. So Petrosian wisely leaves his options open. Instead, just defends his c5 pawn again. More importantly, gets ready to develop his light squared bishop. Okay. he's enthusiastic over there. All right. That's cool, yeah. I can learn something from that. Okay. Get energized. Okay. So the knight gets to e5, but he's not worried about it. Why not? Who do you guys like here? Let's get some evaluations. Yeah, let's start with orange jacket. Huh? What do you think here? Excellent. So that advanced pawn, weakness or strength? e5. Yeah, weakness. It certainly is exerting some power on the dark squares in black's camp, namely d6 and f6. That being said, I think I agree with you back there. Not really worth it. How about you, Liam? Sound about right? Or what else? What are you thinking?
I think it sounds good.
Sounds good, huh? Okay. So for that reason, he'd be happy. Black would be happy to trade those bishops. All right? He was definitely probably thinking about king safety. So even though he saw this g5 line, he just played queen c7, focusing another piece on e5, but more importantly, getting ready to castle. Yeah, getting ready to castle queenside. Okay. Knight f3, because if anything silly like queen g4 attacking the g7 pawn, then you can just play an immediate g5 and get the g file open and looking really scary against the white king. Spassky didn't go in for that. Plays knight f3, just defending e5. What do you guys think is best here for black? Yeah. G5. Probably playable, but you are sacking it. Yeah, you make me second guess myself. But still, I mean, in these other lines we're looking at, we're sacrificing that pawn anyway. Probably okay to play G5 here. Ooh, F6. You say. F6 looks a little scary, and I wouldn't want to contend with weakening my light squares like that with his light squared bishop still on the board. What's that? G5 immediately. Yeah, it's probably losing a pawn. We could look at it with the engine. They're really maybe losing a pawn, but once that G file is even half open against the king like that, sometimes it's worth it, way more than worth it. Plays it a little safe though. Just plays H6. No need to rush. No need to rush here. Keeps it flexible. And Spassky lashes out. Is this losing a pawn for him? It's a sacrifice. And if he goes for it, what's the point of all sacrifices in gambits? What's one of the main points? What? Well, to get files open, rapid development. Piece activity is another way of framing that, but exactly. Yeah. We gambit to develop rapidly, and we sacrifice stuff to get piece activity. Look at all those arrows. Okay. I knew it's kind of a dry game, not a lot of explosive tactics. I've been called out for not being the most energetic presenter of games, so throw in some surprise arrows there. Keep you guys on your toes. Yeah. There you go. Good. Yes, they will love me. Okay. All right, if only I could remember what they mean. Knight d4. Okay, so yeah, the idea here is illustrating, the plans for white. Why he would want to sack that pawn, because he's going to get the c file open, like you mentioned over there, for his rook. This rook is going to get to c1. The queen's going to come out to either g4 or h5. And the bishop ideally will retreat after h3 has been played, and we'll be able to get f4 in and look all right. So do we take the pawn with black? Give him all that activity? No, right? No, we don't. We go on with our own attack, because our attack is looking good already. What do we play here? Anybody? Huh? H5, nice. Yeah. With the threat of H4, winning the bishop. Here, he reacts with H4. H3 is also playable, but it gets a little tricky. He plays H4. And with black, what do you got? What have we been talking about? Huh? Ooh, G4. Okay, yeah, what? To get the G file open. Yes, sir. Yep, that's right. Stay away. Claim a buy. Claim a buy if you're paired against him. Right. Yeah. Okay. GH. Do we take it, even though we're attacking it twice and it's only defended once? Why not? You're on fire, man. Yeah, you're on fire. All right, nice. Exactly. So I do remember what that highlights for. That's illustrating that. E5 is his priority. He does not want to, he doesn't want to capture on H4. Okay. Finally, we get our exclam deserving long castles. Castles long. All right, what is he telling him? Some of you guys saw me cover the tall game that we didn't put on YouTube, but Same deal here. He's committing to attack on which side? Yes, sir. King side. Yes, yes. The king side, right. And his king ideally will be safe over here on the queen side. And if need be, he'll get off the c file and scoot over. And here we have a4 played, and this gets some pretty harsh criticism, because what will you guys play with black here? How do we continue to clamp down on the light squares? I heard it out here. What was the other idea? A6, you said? F6. Okay. That might be a little off track. Because he can recapture with a discovered attack, maybe. But we are looking for pawn breaks, or we at least want to debate the merits and demerits of capturing or pushing. But yet, I heard the answer out there. It's c4. We clamp down. We just push forward here. And again, a bunch of crazy arrows. What do they mean? What do they mean? What square are we giving up control of when we play c5, c4? Okay, hence the green. Does it really matter? What if that knight goes there? He undefends something, right? Right. What the pawn with all the scary red arrows pointing at it. The maneuver that I have diagrammed here. Yes, bishop f8 to g8, g7, attacking e5, right? So he has to move the bishop. You know, it's funny, there's a lot of interesting analysis given by Petrosian on this game, and one thing that he claims that was seriously considered was this move. Yeah, interesting, right?
It makes sense.
Okay, why?
Because you get the knight. Because if he takes, you push the pawn forward.
Uh-huh.
The knight, well, you could.
Yeah, you win the knight with it. Yeah, you need to. Still not. I mean, black is still okay if I remember right. I think that engine just said something like this and this and that.
Well, now after all double pawns aren't as good, but
They're not as good. Well said. Yeah, they're looking pretty sorry here.
he's still fine.
I think he is still fine, but with precise play, that knight is going to get to d4, and it's going to be really hard to get rid of him. Yeah.
But I like that rook going to g8 and kicking, pushing the d pawn.
I agree. Yeah, just something like this. You're thinking, yeah. Depending on what white does, yeah, right. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
That is irritating.
irritating things to worry about here. So we understand. Well, but one of the points is that he's not obligated to take though on f5. And if he doesn't, then Spassky allegedly didn't like the idea of the bishop on h3, biting on granite against the stone wall of black pawns on the light squares. So that being said, he retreats him to e2 instead of going in for that interesting looking tactical try, bishop f5. And this is another exclam move. Big exclam is awarded to Petrosian for this. Why? And seriously, this is the kind of thing that I need spelled out to me. But makes sense. It's no crazy tactical reason. He's just doing what he's famous for. He's famous for Exchange sacrifices, very good. Wow, chess historian too, yep, which is what we're going to see here. That is the point of this game. That's what I'm claiming at least, but a lot of rich positional themes to get through beforehand. And this is one of them. Stopping counterplay. You know, just like Karpov, he gets compared to like anacondas and constrictors because they just squeeze the life out of their opponent's position. And A6 kind of does that. It prevents any hopes of counterplay on the queen side. Which is why you don't, Petrosian wisely, I'm sorry, Spassky with white pieces wisely doesn't play b5 or a5 or anything like that. He first worries about king safety, gets his king off the scary semi-open file. Petrosian puts his rook on the scary semi-open, defends, and there we go. What's that? Talk to me. I can't hear you. Oh, you saw this game. Okay, well, dazzle us. Because I think it only gets more interesting from here. I had a lot of fun going over this one for this. Okay, so rook g4. All right, potential exchange sacrifice. I think everyone here, this is why would we be okay with exchanging that, exchanging the rook for a minor piece on g4? Why might we? Structure? What's bad with black's pawn structure? Yeah.
Well, there's one pawn that's just doubled and it's just in front of everything.
This guy, right?
Oh, black.
No, what in black's position is bad. So, and you, Evie, what do you have to say? Yeah, same thing. Yeah, so this is a weakness compensated for by our attacking chances, but we would be okay with exchanging on g4 because it would eliminate that weakness. We could undouble those pawns, and maybe we'll see that happen. We'll see. So queen d2. Finally connecting the rooks, doubling up on that weak-looking g-file, desperately trying to get some piece activity. Yes, sir. b5, locking it up. Now he's forced to play on the king side. White is forced to play on the king side. So we get rook a d1. Again, just praying for activity. And bishop f8. We've been paying close attention. What's the idea behind bishop f8? Bishop g7, trying to just corral that weak pawn, right? So one thing I really like about these kinds of games is that they're not won, not at first at least, and not before move 25, with wild, explosive tactical combos. It's a lot of quiet play, just slowly attacking our opponent's weaknesses. In this case, e5 and the other weaknesses he's created. So, knight h2. Are we worried about that? What do you say? I see a hand raised. What are you going to move? Oh, excuse me. Yeah. What do you think here? What should we play for black? Corral that weakness. He just undefended it, right? With this move, we're not worried about this. As we already said, we're just going to recapture. What? Seems bad tactically, right? Why? What did we just self-pinned. One thing is that GMs are pretty good at calculating. They're all right, from what I understand. And he knows that there's no way for white to exploit that pin. He has no pawn on the e-file with which to attack the pinned knight on e5 a second time, right? And the bishop's on the f-file, so it's kind of a moot point. And he can just play bishop d6. Yeah. And one thing we just kind of glossed over, e4, again, just a desperate attempt at getting activity. And it's a little trappy, too. What happens if we take? What happens if we take? Yeah. Is there a trap for white? Uh-huh. Yeah, say it out.
Bishop takes e4. 5.
Right, after, right. Bishop takes e5 with what idea?
So the queen can.
Yeah, the queen, yeah, with winning a piece at least, right? Yeah. Or not, if not just mating him. Right, like this. Yeah. So, thankfully, this game would not be as interesting if it ended that way, right? It goes on like this. He finally gets the dark squared bishops off the board, and he's looking okay. Hoping against hope that he's going to be able to play DE and increase pressure on G4. What do you play with black here? Which move? G3, yeah, pressing. You guys want to press, but E5 is nice, and that's what Petrosian played. Nice. And now the really hard move, which I'm not going to torture you guys trying to find, F5, smashing away at that E4 pawn, right? A lot of people think EF might have been a better try. Do we retake here? Or do we use our huge pawn majority on the king side to do some real damage? I like the way you're thinking. What are we saying back there? Nothing. How about any ideas? What would you guys play up here? How about you, Ollie? Yeah? Push the pawns. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the answer I heard from the back. F4, attacking the queen. And after she goes to D5, what are you going to play? She goes to, I'm sorry, to E4. What are you going to play? Yes, sir. Everyone agrees. Everyone agree, right? Keep him out of the center. Okay. Again, just trying to do something about this alarming-looking pawn mass, which is push. What if we wanted to bring? What if I said bring another piece into the attack first? Yeah, nice. Good job. You're on fire too. Got a lot. Sharp analysts in the room tonight. Okay. Bishop C8. Sensible retreat. Now you get your G3 move on the board. Rook E1. You're saying H3? Nice. Let's increase pressure a little bit. So let's build the pressure. Rook H8. You're probably okay taking on G2. This just poses way more problems for him. Way more. Getting out of the discovery. Getting another pair of minors off the board. Now the killer E4. Rook H1, I mean, yeah, I'm just like catching myself. He's not sacking anything, but he obviously can't take because E4 is defended. And you have to contend with this, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, if he goes rook takes a 9, he's toast.
So he tries to bring another light square defender in. And what was Petrosian's killer tactical blow? And there are two way stronger engine variations, but his still rates his crushing. It's like 12 point advantage or something. But they give you like I think there's like you can get like a forced mate in 10 or 11 maybe from here. What's your move? E3. Okay, what else? Let's hear some other ones.
Queen to D7.
Queen D7 and Queen E5 are the two computer lines. Queen D7 with the idea of getting in his face, and Queen E5 there's some forced mate threats, but we're running low on time, so I'm gonna blow everybody's mind here with Knight G4. Why would he play that?
To hold those pawns after he takes it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's good.
And then what? Just push the pawn.
Boom. That pawn is very big right now.
Dead in the water. Yep, just a desperado, as Dennis Burrows says. Just a good song from the Eagles, right? Yeah. So I gotta laugh. Okay, I'm on fire tonight. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hit like, share, subscribe. See you guys.